Everyone, how are you all doing? In our previous video, we talked about power of woman. So in today's video, we're talking about power of a praying wife. Yes, power of a praying wife. This thing has a lot to do with the woman, not actually the man, but mostly the woman. When you hear power of a praying wife, you'll be like, does it mean she has to be praying all the time? No, she doesn't have to be praying all the time, but she needs to know what to do at the right time. Now, the first thing to know as a praying wife, you should know that it hurts to pray for your husband when he offends you and maybe when he makes you angry or something. It's painful to pray for him, yes. But if Jesus can tell us to pray for our enemies, how about our husband, the persons we have shared vows with on the altar? So you don't have a choice than to pray for him. And the next thing I would want to tell you is that before you pray for your husband or before you ask God to change your husband, maybe he's exhibiting some attitude you do not like. Before you ask God to change your husband, all you do is that you ask God to change you first. I know it's not easy to tell God, Father, change me. You'll be like, what have I done? Or am I exhibiting some attitude that is irritating? But if I'm having a bad attitude, my husband is supposed to tell me, but he's not saying any of that. So what you do is you ask God to change you first. Yes, there are some attitude that before God they are not good, but in your own eyes they seem to be good, but before God they are not good. What you do is that you ask God to change you first. And as a praying wife, you don't need to see changes before you pray for God to change your husband. I know maybe when you started seeing him drinking or hanging around with some friends you don't like, you start praying, Father, take away every bad friend, take away every ungodly friends and all that. You don't need to wait for that time to come. All you do is that you need to pray for your husband all the time. So you don't need to pray when you have started hanging out with the wrong friends. I know there is these 3 prayer points that women mostly make as a married woman. We say, Father, protect my husband, Father, save my marriage and change him. When you want to make a prayer of protecting my husband, maybe when you've seen him hanging around with wrong friends, we start praying, Father, protect my husband, every bad friend will disengage him. And maybe you made that prayer severally and it worked. Okay, you're seeing results. And all of a sudden, you didn't see him hanging out with women that you don't know who they are. That normally he tells you about his female friends, but all of a sudden you started seeing him with different women that you don't know about. That moment your prayer point is going to change to, Father, save my marriage. These 3 prayer points is common in most marriages: protect my husband, save my marriage, and change my husband. But oftentimes women mostly make the prayer, change my husband, even when he's getting it right. He always pray, Father, change my husband. And we do not know that most of the attitude our husbands exhibit is based on how we relate with them. If you're giving your husband a positive vibe, you don't need to start making prayer of, Father, change my husband. All you pray is, Father, bless him. Keep blessing him. But if you don't know the role you are supposed to play as a prayer wife, you will be getting it wrongly. Do you understand? Now, submission. Some persons misunderstand this word submission. Submission is not something that is demanded of you. It's something you give from your heart. It's something you do willingly. Just like when you want to love somebody, you're not forced to love somebody. It's something you do from your heart. Do you understand? Just like what Jesus said to his disciple, he who loses his life will save it at the end. If you lose your life for his sake, you will definitely get the reward. So when you're submissive to your husband, you will always get the reward. He will be submissive to you. And one other thing I want to tell you, lastly I'll be telling you now, is that power of a praying wife. When you pray for your husband always, he'll be so free with you. He will always want to tell you things, and he always wants to come home to tell you things. So I want to urge you today, and I want to tell you, the women out there, we should take more time in praying than complaining, because the more you complain is the more he change. The more you complain is the more he keeps living the life that is no good. The more you complain is the more he keeps doing that thing you don't like. Do you understand? So I will encourage we engage more in praying than complaining, than nagging. And one other thing I want to tell you today is that don't take your marriage to the public. Whatever thing you and your husband are going through in the house, do not share it to the public. It's not for the public consumption. Do you understand? So I pray that God help you in your marriage to live a better life with your husband. Take care. I love you.